Hey guys, welcome to another episode of KoKo's World. It's your girl Carly, and I'm so excited for today's episode. Today, we're not here to fix you, we're not here to polish you, improve you, or turn you into some version of yourself that feels more acceptable to the world. Today, we're here to remember because self love isn't something you build from scratch, it's something you return to after life pulls you away from yourself. This episode is about the blueprint, not the kind you follow perfectly, but the kind you come back to when everything feels shaky, confusing, and unfamiliar. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that love had conditions, that we had to earn it, prove it, perform for it, work for it, shrink for it, survive for it. And little by little, we learned how to abandon ourselves quietly. So when we talk about self love today, we're not talking about bubble baths or pretty affirmations. We're talking about the courage it takes to come back home to yourself every day. This conversation is for the women who had her own comeback moment. This moment where life cracked her open, sat her down, and whispered, "There's more for you, but first you have to choose yourself." Self love isn't loud at first, it starts quietly. And the moment you stop arguing with your intuition, and the moment you stop betraying your needs to keep the peace, and the moment you realize that loving yourself doesn't make you selfish, it makes you whole. Today's episode is about reclaiming your power and understanding that your past doesn't disqualify you. That's the breakdown, wasn't the end, it was the blueprint. This is for the woman who's tired of starting over from rock bottom and is ready to start over from self respect. For the women who's done asking for permission, done explaining her growth, done shrinking her truth to make other people feel comfortable. You don't need to become someone new. You need to come back to who you've always been before the world told you who you needed to be. So, as we move through this episode, let it be a mirror, not a measuring stick. Let it remind you that healing isn't linear, self love isn't perfect, and your comeback doesn't have to look like anyone else. This is your invitation to stop surviving your life and start choosing yourself inside of it. Welcome to the self love blueprint. Welcome to the comeback. And I'm so excited to welcome the beautiful Nichole Eaton. How are you today?
That was so beautiful. I'm like, I should be taking notes. That was so good.
Thank you.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. When I was thinking about this episode and just all the things that comes with you, because she comes with a complete package, y'all. I
Wow.
cannot wait to unfold everything. But when I was thinking about it, I always try to like journal what comes up for me whenever
Yeah.
I'm designing like these episodes and what I hope like the listeners and the viewers get. And after reading your book and like just knowing you a little bit personally, I was like, this feels powerful. One thing that I'm really excited about for this season is I'm not gonna hide like my vulnerable moments. Like I'm not sharing my
Love
whole
that.
journal, right?
Yeah.
But I want to express like my world of how I view things. And whenever I'm writing them down, I just want them to be received the way that I'm putting it out. So I really received that you felt like it was beautiful and thank you.
I love that. And I love that people need to know that just getting through life is messy.
Yes.
I think there's too much perfectionism
Yes.
and having raw, honest moments. Here's how this helped me.
Yep.
I try to do that even with even writing the books. There's times where I'm not my best, and I try
Yes.
to make sure everybody understands that and knows that there's no perfect person. Everybody's got their stuff.
If we're perfect, then what are we trying to fix?
Yeah, it's so boring.
Very
It
boring.
would be so boring if you watched a movie and the main character had nothing ever dramatic happen to them. You would turn it off.
Yes, you surely would. I want to say before we get started, thank you so much for being here and just carving out some time. And a little bit about KoKo's World is I want women to understand the importance of loving themselves because I personally feel just from my own journey of whenever put all of my time and focus in my family and my job, I look myself in the mirror one night and I was like, I don't even know who this person is. And I actually do not like this person. And so I realized after a lot of therapy and just getting myself out of that rut that I had to be my best self for me to be the best mom, the best partner, the best friend that I could be for the people around me in my world. So I want to talk about that today.
I love that. And that's so true. I think so many women specifically, and not to say
Yes.
that this does not ring true for men, but women specifically are in roles and in society stories and narratives about self-sacrifice and self-abandonment as heroine
Yep.
ship, right? It's
Yes.
like the big idea that if you abandon yourself, like you're the best mom, you're
Yes.
the best daughter, the best wife,
Yes.
that comes with self-sacrifice and self-abandonment.
Yes. I want to stay there for a second because over Christmas break, I watched this Prime movie called Oh What Fun. Did you by
I
chance see it?
didn't.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
It is phenomenal. It's about obviously Christmas and how everything is around like dads. We have Saint Nick, we have like mom go and all day she's preparing food for the family to come. She's cleaning the house for family members to come stay for Christmas. She's buying all the Christmas festivity tickets. And she had only this one wish that she wanted her family to vote for her to be like nominated to be the best mom so that she can go on her favorite talk show. Like the talk shows, I would guess, like Ellen, whenever Ellen was
Yeah.
big back in the day. And so she had texted all of her kids that were in college, and two of her children were like adults and had families and stuff. And she was like, "This is all I want for Christmas." And they all come in town. Long story short, there she has everything decorated. She has all the grandkids' favorite snacks. All the beds are customly made for Christmas decorations. And they're going to this Christmas play that they go to every year. And she's, yeah, like I want us all to wear matching sweaters, all this stuff. So dad is complaining because the sweater's ugly. The children are crying because they're fed up. And then the adult kids are going through their own problems. And mom, they all like rambling around and she's getting things packaged like snacks for the grandkids and all stuff. And they forget her at home. And she was like, "Okay, I've done all this stuff. You guys are in your own world doing your own thing. And I bought all these tickets and I really don't even want to go to this show, but because of it's a tradition, we're going." And she was like, "You know what? Forget this." She gets in her car and she drives all the way to LA, which was like it took her 2 days in the storm, in the snow to get to this show. And her kids go back home and they're like, "Where's mom? We forgot her." And long story short, she gets to LA. She finds out that she wasn't nominated because her kids didn't even think about her. But then they realized that Christmas morning there was no breakfast. That the joy of Christmas, the whole definition of it was like the memories and everyone. And she was a prime point of the joy of Christmas because she
Right.
does everything. And they were like, "This is boring, like without mom." And so they ended up getting in airplane, flying to LA. And her daughter was like, "Was this the only thing you wanted for Christmas?" And she was like, "Yes. And I've never asked for anything, but I was so overlooked. And for years, I felt guilty for putting myself before you guys."
Right.
And she was like, "But realistically, I now have nothing to live for because y'all are all grown and y'all are living your own life and doing what's best for you." And she was like, "So I chose to drive 2 days in the snow and I'm so happy because I'm here." And I like it made me have one, a little bit more appreciation for my mom actually this past Christmas. But two, I'm like, as a mom, it was so valid that like it was important for her to make herself happy and do what she wanted to do because reality is her kids followed her and they end up in LA and they had the best Christmas day because of her making a little bit of a sacrifice to choose herself. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I'll
Please
have
go
to
watch it.
watch that
Yes.
because that's the thing is moms especially, like women in general, but moms especially have just so much invisible labor. I
Yep.
see this all over the internet. I know it's even prevalent in my house sometimes,
Yes.
family house. Like there's constant just that idea that we're taking care of it all, but it's all these micro moments that go unnoticed.
Yes.
And when you self abandon to the point where all you're doing is serving, that's where resentment comes in
Yes.
and bitterness and
Yes.
victimhood.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm excited to talk today about self love, but also self love in the way of reclaiming yourself.
Yes, yes. Before we get too far, I would love for you just to give us a quick little introduction of who you are and what makes you.
Okay, so I'm Nichole Eaton. I've been an intuitive therapist for the past 17 years, which means I mix intuition, energy work, manifestation with traditional counseling. I'm a trained traditional master's level counselor. I've written 2 books, Rock Your Comeback and Rock Your Soul. I have a top 5% globally ranked podcast, and I'm genuinely just deeply obsessed with helping people feel powerful in
Yep.
their lives. In any way, shape, or form, I can help you be more powerful and make bolder, better decisions that are in alignment and knock off the self-abandoning.
Yes, yes. You are just a rock star. And I am so honored to having you a part of my my friend group now.
Sure.
And we have to thank Michael for that, because if it wasn't for him being a great photographer that he is, I would have never gotten to meet Nichole. And yeah, I just cannot wait to dig deep into everything. So this podcast is brought to you by MJW Photo Studio, a professional headshot and personal branding studio creating clean, high quality imagery for professionals and entrepreneurs. If you're ever interested in booking Michael for a professional headshot or company headshot, feel free to reach out at www.mjwphotos.com or through Instagram at mjwphotoclt. I know that we talked about you being an author and owning two books. I've only read one of her books. I need to get the other one, Rock Your Soul. But what moment were you in life where it was time for you said, okay, I need to write a book?
The first book actually was a request by clients.
Okay.
I had clients coming in and they were like, I wish I could remember everything you say to me. I just wish I could take you home. And I'm like, how can I help them take me home? So I took all the ideas that came up over and over again and I
Okay.
put them into Rock Your Soul. That was my inaugural book.
Okay.
Rock Your Comeback is a little bit different because it is my how to get out of your own way guide.
Yeah.
Like how to reclaim your power. This is if I could write a book to myself 15, 16 years ago,
Yes.
it would be Rock Your Comeback.
Okay.
15 to 16 years ago, I was in maybe just the worst mental state of my life, very impoverished, had no money at all. I was a brand new young mom. I had my first daughter at 20, and I was just fighting life in every single direction with no support, no backup plan,
Yep.
and feeling overall hopeless, powerless.
Yeah.
So this is the guide. This is everything that I did in the order I did it to get myself into a better place. And so the cool thing about Rock Your Comeback is that you can start anywhere in it and it will make sense. And so some people want to start at the black hole moment. Some people want to start with understanding their intuition. Some people want to start with understanding how their mindset works. And so there's all sorts of different sections and chapters depending on where you are on your journey. If you just need a little help learning about manifestation and
Yeah.
why it works. But yeah, this is my how to get back in your power guide.
So you bringing up the black hole moment, I definitely resonated with that, just because honestly, when we met, I was going through like a black hole where, second year of entrepreneurship, like going from corporate America, where I honestly felt like I had no power because I worked in healthcare, which is driven by women, but believe it or not, it is more so driven by men, especially on the corporate level. And I just felt like I had no voice. And then I'm going into this whole new world where I'm like, I have a vision, but I do not see how I'm going to make the money and how I'm going to make this vision actually work, because I still have a family and I'm about to be 30 and like all these things. And when you were like, I highly recommend you reading this book. When I was reading like the black hole moment, and just to give a little bit of a synopsis, it talks about a time when nothing seems to work or feel right. Like you're turning every which way and nothing just seems that is working in your favor. I realized that I was in my own way. I was like, Carly, I have everything. I have all the gifts and I have these visions that I believe in, but I'm shutting every idea down because I'm just filled with negative self-talk, doubt, all the things.
So easy too.
And so I want to talk about how this particular chapter, how it can help transform your mind, and from the author standpoint, how you go about the art of helping people do that, and then how it combines with, you have to find that self-love or that self-motivation to know that it's important for you to change your mindset, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Starting with the first part of that, everybody's going to hit a black hole moment in their
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
You're going to have a moment where you're in a breakup and it feels like the world stops turning. You're going to have a moment where everything that was once working is suddenly not, and nothing's changed, but you start to feel off.
Yep.
Everybody's going to have a season of their life that's hard or that sucks because that is the school of life.
Yes.
And so, one thing that I really love about the work I do in differentiation of traditional therapy
Yep.
is that I don't believe that it takes a long time to get better.
No.
Okay.
I agree.
I think that getting better can happen in a split second. It can happen in a moment. It can happen in a small decision. It can happen in a shift of a thought.
Yeah.
So when we look at it like that I don't have to battle these big, awful thoughts. I just have to find something neutral.
Yep.
To anchor myself in, whether it's the saying, I don't know why this happened, but I accept that it has.
Yep.
A lot of the times when we're in a tough place, we're fighting ourselves.
Yes.
And that's not self-love, right?
Right.
It's like
It's self-abandonment.
you wouldn't go to your kids like my daughter has been a little bit of a head case the last week. She's got softball tryouts and she's trying out
Poor
for a
thing.
more competitive team than she's ever tried out for.
Yep.
She's also 94 pounds soaking wet. She's the smallest of all the kids on the team, and we know that going in.
Yeah.
And if I were to be like her sharing her doubts about this team, if I was sitting there, you know what? You're right. Why even bother? Could you imagine if I second every voice that she had? So when we are in that space of trying to get out of our own way, the best thing we can do is wave the white flag instead of battling it back and forth.
Yes.
I think that our go-to is to try to like talk ourselves out of it, but sometimes we just have to stop the spiral and the momentum of the negative thought.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to get out of our house.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to go to a coffee shop instead of work from home. There are things that we can do that are small and subtle and easy to just do one new thing and carve a new path so that energy and that feeling can start to break up. And also, it's okay in some seasons to be sad. I'm a firm believer you know when you're ready.
Yeah.
And you know when you're ready. Okay, I've been in this hole too long.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I'm ready. And I think that your brain hears that and the universe hears that.
When you say that, I remember my ready moment. I spent 8 years with this one health system. It was the first job I got out of college. And just to give a little bit of backstory, I was completely broke. I just accepted this first job out of college. Like I didn't even negotiate, honestly, a higher package because I was like, I need a job. And I had just adopted my niece and times are hard. So I spent 8 years. Now, granted, I grew very fast in this business, like in this company. I started as an analyst and then was promoted as an operations manager and then an operations director. So I grew really quickly in the 8 years. But one thing that I always felt was anything that I gave wasn't enough. And even if that was working, obviously COVID, I slept 4 hours a day for 64 days straight. And yeah, I did because I had to provide numbers to our state governor and I had meetings and had to be in boardroom meetings and like all these things. And I remember crying one night and I was like, this is not my life. What is going on? I haven't had a raise in 6 years. I literally had just graduated with my master's and I'm like, I finished my master's because they told me that's what I needed for this job. And my responsibilities have grown, but literally I'm catching no break. And my wife, she was like, Carly, you will know when enough is enough. And so I went into my manager's office and I said, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, I'm really feeling burnt out right now. Like, I really feel like I'm putting all of my eggs in this one basket. I'm not even looking to go to another job. And I just want to catch a crumb, a break. And she looked at me and she was like, yeah, we're currently going through budget cuts. And I'm going to see like what area we can negotiate to see to make you happy. And like, you're doing a great job. So 2 weeks later, I get furloughed. And I was like, okay.
Not exactly what you asked for.
But on the cusp, right? But it wasn't exactly what I asked for. And so many people, and like even my therapist, she's like, Carly, what came up for you that day? And I said, what honestly came up for me was the fact that I knew I needed to leave. I gave a person the opportunity to see what I seen in myself. And once again, I broke my own trust in that journey, which caused more issues of self-doubt, self-love going out the door, me questioning all of my decision makings because I did not latch on to the decision that my heart wanted because my mind was fighting me. And I said, and then I was literally booted out the door after all these years of investment and time and energy and more student loans. And she was like, honestly, we got to work through that because reality is that is what happened. But moving forward, that you take this as a learning opportunity. But sorry, I say all that to say, I wish that I would have chosen myself versus choosing that company and choosing hoping that they seen the value that I thought that I was bringing to the company.
But our minds grapple with safety.
Yeah.
Or illusions of safety.
Yep.
And I'm actually gonna switch that whole safety to illusions of safety and just lock that in because
Yeah.
even the things that we attribute to being safe aren't.
not.
Because obviously that was like a safe bet to just stay at the job. And I love that you're able to look back, even if you didn't make the decision in that moment,
Yep.
that you were able to look back and say, hey, my intuition knew
Yep.
that I needed to get the hell out of there. That is, it's okay if we miss our cues of our intuition because we're latching on to the illusion of safety,
Yep.
but take stock in it.
Yeah.
Write it down. Give yourself actual written proof that your intuition does not lie and
Yep.
it's consistent. And if you don't listen to it, other things have to step in. The universe has to step in. External situations have to shift in order to get you where you need to go.
Yes.
You weren't meant to be there, and you knew that long before you had
Yep.
that conversation. And so I love that you're able to look back and say that because that's the thing. It's like our brain is built to look for safety.
Yep.
So if it's built to look for safety, we cannot be mad at it
Yep.
for doing that.
Yep.
But when we learn to hear our intuition and we can lean into it a little bit more and acquire the evidence that our brain actually needs to be able to trust it. And for
Yep.
a long time, when I was learning my intuition, I had a notes section in my phone. And I don't care what it was about. I don't care if it was about Brad and Angelina breaking up. It was like whatever the dumbest thing that would pop in my head that felt, I don't know why, but, and that's how I signal my intuition. I don't know why, but. So whenever I had an I don't know why but moment or a pull to call somebody, even if I didn't do it, I'd write it down.
Yep.
And I would just see where it showed up later. And after a while, it was like, wait a second, there's a science to this.
Yep.
And I think when we talk about intuition, it sounds like it's magic. It's not. It is your inner GPS calling you, guiding you, pushing you, nudging you. And when we don't listen, something's got to shift. If you're not going to shift it, something will shift it for you.
Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that intuition because I am a sucker I fight my intuition all the time.
Yeah, most people do.
I'm horrible at it. I literally will say, this month my goal is listen to my inner thoughts. And then day 2 of the month, I'm like, Carly, that inner thought was very stupid. And then I fight it. And then literally, like you said, it'll come back in a different scenario. I had the same situation happen yesterday. So I was thinking of a friend and we are in the same kind of similar situation with just trying to figure out, we see our gifts, we believe in our gifts, but we're afraid of just not knowing where our next dollar is going to come from, right? And I was thinking about her and I was like, I'm just going to like whisper a good little prayer and just say, I hope all is well, but I really do need to call her. She ends up calling me.
Of course. Yes.
So she calls me like 2 hours later and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick up because I was currently working and I said, nope, I'm going to take a break. I need to go for a lap around. So I'm going to just get up and go for a walk. We talk. Conversation's great. We're talking about being that like we both are plant moms. So we were talking about how important it is to have like solid roots so that plants can grow, but how also plants go through times where like it's nothing happening. And it's because their root system is getting stronger. And she was just encouraging me and I was encouraging her. And then I had a conversation with my dad. Same conversation comes up about roots and the importance of cleaning your soil and like making sure that you prune the people around you so that you can continue to blossom the plant that you need to be. I'm on the phone last night at 8:00. The same conversation comes up the third time. And I was like,
better write it down.
I did. I literally wrote it down and I was like, this is my sign. Like, I do not need to be in the certain place that I'm at right now because I have to continue pouring into the vision that I have and my mission. So I want to talk about intuition because I feel like a lot of people think when you are a manifester or when you actually say, hey, my intuition's this and I'm going to follow it, that you are practicing something that's from the dark side.
Yeah.
And so I want to express to my listeners, because I talk about manifestation all the time, and people think that I'm a little bit of a quack, but it's
Same
not
girl,
that.
same. We
It,
can
it
hang out.
works. It literally works. And so I would love to talk because you are an intuitive therapist. You have the knowledge behind it and just your experience, if you don't mind sharing it a little bit.
Absolutely, that some people will believe that this stuff is woo, this stuff is out there. In Rock Your Comeback, I talk a lot about the science behind things. And although I don't know if I'll ever understand the full science behind intuition and manifestation, there's so much scientific evidence that supports it. There's so many stories that support it. The Olympic athletes are doing it.
Yep.
But let's talk about not trusting your intuition for a second, because we just aren't taught.
Yeah.
There's nothing that societally suggests we should trust our intuition.
Yep.
We should lean towards logic. We should lean towards knowledge and science and data and facts. And the reality is that the biggest intuitive hits come out of nowhere.
Yep.
Your brain is most susceptible to your intuition when you're doing an automatic process like driving or automatic writing. So just writing fluidly or showering. They call it shower thoughts for a reason, guys. That's like a drop in. Most people spend the majority of their lives reacting and responding to the world around them, not listening and creating.
Yep.
So we're not in receiving mode, we're in autopilot. And there's a difference, right? If I'm not in my body at all and I'm just going through the motions of the day and I'm off in my head thinking about my to-do list, where does intuition have much access to me? Unless it needs to, unless something is just trying to get you to leave a job that's super toxic and draining. And intuition never skips anybody. And anybody who's, I'm not an intuitive person, have you ever just got in a car with an Uber driver and you're like,
yes.
Have you ever thought of somebody and they called you 10 minutes later? Intuition doesn't skip anybody. It's just, I always describe it as a skill set. It's a skill that you can learn. It's a muscle that you can grow. I deeply believe everybody has it, but we're just not taught to use it. We're taught that it's like crazy or psychic. And it's not that I don't think that intuition, can I read you as much as I can read myself? We're reading people all of the time. You know what mood your boss walked into your office with. So if you think you're not intuitive, it's just the ability to read and judge a room, which I haven't met a lot of people who can't. So that being said, everybody's intuitive. And I think a lot of people think that intuition is dark, and I will stand by this till the day I die. Intuition is not fearful.
Even if you want to, I have no clue what your background is. We don't have to talk about that. But for me, I grew up Christian. Both my parents are. And I know in church, they used to always talk about discernment. And if people want to relate it to a religion or a spiritual practice, it's the exact same thing. Intuition is your discernment. It's a gut feeling. So listen to that. And when you talk about an Uber driver, I have literally we went to New Orleans years ago, and my cousin and I were in this Uber driver because my mom sent us back because they wanted to party, and I wasn't of age at that time. And I just remember looking at her and I was like, I would much rather us get out and walk on the streets of Bourbon and then be in this car because I feel uncomfortable. And so we literally just stopped and was like, hey, I think it was a taxi, not actually an Uber driver, but we get out and we just walked. And she was like, honestly, the next day we're watching the news in the background, 2 girls goes missing, and it was the exact same man. And I literally looked at her and I was like, that could have been us.
And here's the thing is, and what I want to point out to everybody is that a lot of times people feel like intuition has to be this big knowing or this big vision you have in your mind. Your body is speaking about what's true and not true 100% of the time. Your body is turning, twisting, tightening, telling you. You're in an unhealthy relationship, you're probably about to get sick. Or have an ailment, or if you're in a work situation, like probably about to get, like your body doesn't skip a beat when telling you something's not right here. And so even if you can't trust anything else, like tune back into your body because
Yep.
it's telling you what's working and what's not 100% of the time, whether you want it to or not.
I absolutely love that. Let's talk a little bit more about how intuition aligns with self-love and being more intuitive with who you are, how that is actually empowering you to learn to love yourself.
Yeah. So I think that intuition and self love are tied. I don't think you need to feel intuitive or trust your intuition yet. I think
Okay.
that trusting your intuition takes a minute
Yes.
and
Okay.
it's a skill. So
Okay.
it takes some development. But when I think about self love, I think about the opposite of self abandonment.
Okay.
If I'm abandoning myself, if I'm leaving something behind, it means I'm paying no mind, no attention to it at all.
Okay.
It's forgotten about. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Self love is really just that simplistic moment where we tune back in and pour any ounce of energy
Okay.
into ourselves.
Give an example.
So simple, right? We're going to make this so simple. Anybody listening can do this. You're going to take a minute, close your eyes, and put your hand over your heart. And you're just going to ask yourself, like, what do I need today?
Okay.
You're just going to hold that space.
Okay.
And you might have a logical thought pop in, and that's fine. Oh, you need to get the dishes done. But there's also going to probably be another voice that just says rest.
Yep.
There's going to be another voice that says you need to move your body.
Yep.
My kids always joke, my youngest, she's my body needs a vegetable.
Okay.
And she's like, I'm not like a almond mom by any means. We eat whatever, but she'll just be like, I just feel like I'm low on energy and I need a vegetable.
I
Like
love
she'll
that.
put her hand over her heart and I'm like, okay. So it's about paying attention to yourself.
Yep.
And I
Yes.
think you were talking about when you adopted your niece and
Yeah.
became a mom and you're in these roles that everything is being demanded of you. And I don't know about you, but I received the messaging that good moms self-sacrifice,
Yes.
good moms put themselves
Yes.
last until the point that I was so burnt out
Yes.
that I resented being a mom.
Yes.
All my other friends were all 21 and having a great time. I'm like breastfeeding and I'm like up all night. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was just like, how is this?
Motherhood.
People like this,
Right.
people know it truly. And obviously, I say that now my kids are the light of my life. But at the time, I was barely making, I was
Yes.
barely surviving. And so it wasn't until there was a free therapist on my school campus
I
when
love
I was
that.
going for my master's degree. My daughter was a year and a half. And I walked in and like just let myself say the things that I was really thinking
Yep.
for the first time ever. And I think that self-love and truth go hand in hand.
Yes.
And I don't think
Yes.
enough people say that.
Yep.
Is that the willingness to be honest with yourself about
Yes.
where you're actually at and what you're actually thinking, because there's so much demand for perfectionism or to
Yep.
show up a certain way that a lot of times we're lying to ourselves.
Yep.
Even I always start with my clients, I'm always like, what's the thing you haven't said to anybody? Or maybe what's the thing you haven't said to yourself
Yep.
yet?
Yep.
And that's a beautiful place to start, is like giving yourself ability to tell the truth in the most loving and compassionate and non-judgmental way. Even
Yes.
if you write it down and you throw it away, or you write it down and you burn it, or
Yep.
you say it out loud in the car by yourself, it's the willingness to admit whatever's going on, because we can't shift and change a damn thing until we're really clear and honest about
Yep.
what's not working and why.
Yes. I agree. I want to just stay there for a second because people do not realize how freeing it is when you can just live a very honest life. And I want to back up a quick second by saying, so my niece and I, obviously it was very hard at the beginning because we're 10 years apart. And I had to go from a big sister type of role to being a mom and
Yeah.
having to provide rules, but also she had a lot of trauma that she was also having to overcome. And we ended up putting her in travel volleyball. And with your daughter being an athlete, you're traveling every single weekend.
All the
You
days,
have
all the time.
you have school volleyball, and then literally you're leaving school volleyball and practice to Thursday nights loading up so that you can travel for hours
Yep.
one direction. Then you're in a tournament all
All
weekend
day.
and all day. Then you're traveling back. And so, you're having to figure out time for yourself, your relationship, work, friends, putting food on the table, ordering groceries. If you have animals, you're juggling that. Like, it is
Yeah.
so much of just your mind is literally like this, up and down.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at her one night, and she had a tournament that was 6 hours away coming up on Thursday. And we were going to have to get on the road after work Thursday evening. And I said, "How do you feel about riding with your friend?" And she was like, "I don't care, but usually I don't." And I said, "I'm willing to pay for one night of hotel fee for, I've already talked to her parents, but I would like for you to go with them this weekend." And she was like, "Okay, I'm feeling some type of way." And I said, "I hold space for however you're feeling. I want us to talk about it, but I want you to also hold space for me and what I'm feeling, and we're going to have a conversation." And I would have never admitted that I needed a break because I just felt like Superwoman. I felt like I had to have, I was also the teen mom. Never sign up to do that. Whew. Yeah, I was the teen mom, and we're booking hotels, like all the things that no one tells you because it doesn't come with the manual. It's
It's a
like,
whole job to be a travel ball. Shout out to the travel ball parents because
whew,
it's an entire like part-time gig
it
to
is for free,
be, yes,
just
the
for one
joy of
ticket.
them playing.
Yes. It's my therapist told me the same thing. She said, "Carly, I need you to express something that you have not said to anyone."
Yeah.
And I said, "I love her and I'm so happy to be her mom, but I absolutely hate my life right now." And she was like, "Okay, let's figure out something. What is one little ounce this week that you can either give to Shelby or just say, I'm not doing?" I said, "Okay, that's one. That's easy. I do not want to go on this tournament." And she was like, "Okay, let's figure out a way to get Khalees to that tournament and you just stay your happy ass at home." And guess what? I made all the arrangements. I just could not have that conversation with her because I was like, I'm letting down the one person that actually matters most, that I'm in the crowd. Our children look for us at assemblies and
Yes.
concerts and games. And so I was like, I'm not going to be there. And what if she gets hurt? What if something happens? It was the constant what if game.
Yes.
And I had to get behind myself and I said, "Okay, we're going to go to Chick-fil-A. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a great evening dinner. And then I'm going to be truthful." And she was so upset. And then finally, after I explained myself, she was like, "I'm actually happy that you're choosing yourself because I haven't liked the version you've been."
Wow, I love her.
And I said,
Wow, that's amazing for her.
I have chills like thinking about it because I was like, oh my gosh, like you had an honest truth moment that you haven't expressed because you didn't feel safe to say it to me. And I'm having an honest truth moment. And I said, "We're going to FaceTime. We're going to do all these things." And she was like, "I'm going to be fine. I just want you to be fine." And I said, "You know what? That's love right there." And
That's
so she
love.
left. I was a little nervous about her traveling without us, but she was fine. That Sunday, she got back at 6 p.m. We had dinner ready. I felt so revived. I had watched a whole Netflix series. Like, I didn't go nowhere that weekend. And we had the best evening. And it was because I set boundaries for myself and I held them, but also, like, I was honest. And even though I was scared to be honest, that honesty set me free.
Oh, I love that. Honestly, and here's what I love about her response too.
Yeah.
As a demonstration of boundaries, a lot of times when we start to set boundaries, we feel guilty.
Yep.
And I think that's always a little bit of a game to play with ourselves.
Yep.
But we also set boundaries, and it tells us a lot about how much the other person cares in
Right.
their response.
Yeah.
Sometimes we set boundaries with people and they're mad they don't get to walk all over you
Yep.
anymore. And then sometimes we set boundaries and they're like, how can I help?
Yes.
How can I make this easier on
Yep.
you? And I'm right with you because when my kids were little, I got to a breaking point and I was like, I either need to be like in a mental institution right
That's
now,
where I was at.
or I need to just spend a weekend by myself.
Yes.
And so I booked this trip to myself to Vermont and I did it under the guise of finishing my first book, but I really just needed
A break.
a break. I really just needed to not be responsible for anything or
Yep.
anyone. So I don't do it every year anymore, but at least probably once every other year, I take a
Okay.
good 3 to 4 days by myself somewhere.
I love that.
And nobody asks questions. They know where I'm going. Like, I'm not even telling them I'm working anymore. I'm just going to enjoy myself. So it's necessary to have that time. And I think as a commentary on modern day moms,
Yep.
us being able to watch everybody else mom on social media
Right.
is a constant trap of feeling like we're not doing enough, even
Yep.
though we're doing far more than anybody in previous generations.
Yes.
And we're doing it and managing it mentally and technologically in
Yep.
ways we've never managed it before.
Yes.
Travel ball was like, even when I was growing up, it was like only if you were exceptionally
Right.
good at something. And now it's
Yes.
like, if you're not on a travel ball team,
You don't
falling
play.
behind, you're
Yes.
not going to play again. So it's like the demand, the
Mhm.
starting kids at age 4 in very competitive sports,
Mm.
need for. I actually talked to a woman. My daughter is going to graduate this year. She's going to be 18 next month.
Congratulations.
We can't talk about it, but she's going to be 18 next month. And I was talking with this woman, and she was like, her son was in 7th grade, and she was like, we've been building his college resume for a while. And I'm like, we just started talking about college like last summer. And so I have this guilt of, did I put her behind? And then I was like, you know what? None of this fucking
No,
matters.
seriously.
Like, she's going to find a college. She's going to be just fine. She's smart as hell. She's self reliant. She trusts herself.
Yep.
Like, she's incredible. And I don't know if putting pressure on my kids in 7th grade about what college and their future looks like is serving them anyway. So I think there's just a lot of weird pressures. There's a lot of weird things to be responsible
Yep.
for. There's a lot of technological things we now have to keep an eye on and keep track
Yep.
of on top of normal parenting.
Yep.
And it's just, we're parenting in a different time,
Era.
but
Yep.
it's really important that anybody listening who's a parent is able to take some of that pressure off of just look around your house for a minute and let it just be you.
Yep.
Let it just be you and your kids. Let it
Yep.
just be those things that are directly in front of you, and taking all the pressure off of. I always say this, especially around the holidays. I stopped trying to create holiday magic a while ago.
Yep.
And like, we have nights where we bake because the kids want to bake, or we watch movies because we want to watch movies, or if we feel called, we'll go drive around lights, but I don't have to plan that out every second to make sure I tick the boxes like
Right.
that movie you were talking
Yes.
about when we were first started. I've just really allowed myself to parent how I feel called from the energy and the season I'm in,
Yep.
and let that be enough. And I think that's challenging, but you can give yourself permission. It
You should do it.
matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever experienced this, but we would have like round table talks, and it would just be a moment where we were honest of saying like what season we were in. Some people, especially event planners, they have fall and summer is like crazy busy for
Yeah.
them. So I would have a conversation, and Shelby would too, like with Khalees, and say, hey, this is going to be a really like busy season for us. But if you need us, we're here. Because obviously she was 6th grade when she moved in, but like when we started to really get our rhythm, it was more of, she was almost a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of pressure of conversations of, oh, we've already been building our resume. And I'm like, literally 4 years ago, this kid didn't even know if she wanted to go to college. She didn't even know what college was. So I'm happy to just see her in the light that she is now. And if she decides she doesn't want to go to college, I'm okay with that. But we communicated like our seasons, we communicated just where we were at emotionally. I always told everyone knows in my family, I need at least 30 minutes in my car of just quiet time. That is where I reset my energy so that I can come in the house and I'm prepared to tackle on everyone's day. How's everyone's doing and blah, blah, blah. And I would pick Khalees up from school, and I worked from home. So my drive to picking her up from school, after practice, we would come home, we would get in the car, and she would say, we would catch up. And she'll say, okay, I'm going to go in the house and I'm going to walk the dogs because I want that to be one less thing you have to do while you're decompressing. And I love that. But a lot of moms do not share like what they need because, like you said, we have this title of superwoman and being in a relationship, and we love our partners, but sometimes if it's not said what we need help with, they just assume, oh, you got it, picking out everybody's meals for the evening. One baby task that you hand off to someone is allowing, I would say, my brain to have energy or time to be creative or just to fill myself up. So
There is oh my goodness, I wish I could remember the name of the book, but there is a book and a deck of cards
Okay.
for household duties.
Ooh, I need,
And so
yes.
you basically go through the cards each week or each month, depending on how frequently you want to do it. And you
Okay.
take, let's say, laundry or kid-oriented appointments
Okay.
or whatever
I
the
love
task
this.
is. And you go through and, okay, who does this typically? Who does that typically? And then you divvy them up.
Okay.
Okay. So you say, okay, for this month of February, I'm going to take all kid appointments.
Okay.
And so the idea is that if the ball drops, it is on whoever has that card for the month.
I love that.
So it's just like a way to split up the mental load and the load that comes with raising a family or even running a business together. I don't know
Right.
if you and your
Yes.
partner run a business together, but my husband and I have LLCs. We have like multiple businesses together. So like we're husband and wife, we're also business partners, we're also raising a family.
Right.
So we have to
The
have
powerhouse.
we have to have a system
Yes.
or it gets every dinner we're talking about business
Yep.
or I'm making getting all of the Christmas gifts and the birthday gifts.
Yep.
So it's a really great way. And if I'll find it after this podcast, so you
Thank
can
you.
put the link in the show notes.
Yes.
So make sure you keep an eye out for the link in the show notes. But that's just another great way. And honestly, you don't need to buy the cards. You can literally write down all the tasks on Post-it notes and do the same thing. But just allowing that to be completely off your plate because it's on somebody else's plate.
This is off topic, but do you guys like have a monthly meeting with one another just to look at your months and see, like, generically plan things out accordingly for your family?
No,
Okay.
we're so type B, both of us,
Okay.
that it's really just this morning. I finished a workout in my garage
Yep.
and he came in and he like sat down on the workout bench and we spent 25 minutes like talking about an investment opportunity we had a meeting about yesterday.
Okay.
So it's really just like we're very flow based.
Okay.
We're probably to the point that it would concern people, like just how we feel and go with the flow
I
kind of
love
people.
that though.
But I think that it is helpful to be intentional about that. And it's helpful to have a sense of, hey, we do need to catch up on this
Right.
because it needs to be addressed. Because being type B without intentionality, I don't need to plan, but I do need intentionality. And
Right.
those two things are different for me
Yes.
because I can take moment to moment intentionality. I don't have to plan when I'm going to have the conversation.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yes. My wife is very plan B. I'm very type A.
I wish one of us was because we're
and-
just, do you want to go to Paris tomorrow?
Yeah.
Just, surprise.
But I love that though, because I feel sometimes I wish I could be a little bit more type B
Yeah.
just because I feel like it's not right unless I have a plan. And sometimes it's just best just to let it flow and see what happens. And a lot of times when she finally gets me to get calmed down enough to go like just with the flow, I have the best time. But
Did you grow up in a house that things needed to be done before you could rest?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's where that is.
Okay.
A lot of people who grow up in households where things need to be done in order to rest
Yep.
feel like things need to be, in order to be done,
Yes.
and need to be knocked off before you can mentally or physically like chill.
Yes. Every single day I have to write a checklist. And if it's not checked off, I literally will stay up until 1 o'clock until every single thing that's on that checklist is done.
It's a little impressive. It is. Coming from a type B person who would love just a hint of that, I really would. I would love like just a hint of more organization. But
It is very mentally sometimes very stimulating though, overstimulating because it's
what is the fear? What are you afraid will happen if it doesn't get checked off or say about you?
I guess failure, or especially if it's an assignment or someone else needs something from me. I'm like, that person is going to think that I'm just a lazy individual and I'm not. And
Yeah.
so I will sacrifice myself over sacrificing rest. Or even like here recently, I've been trying to stay very in tune with, if I promise myself I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the gym
Yeah.
because I have a dance company and I feel like for a while I was just dancing and working out for other people and not actually for myself because it's two separate
Yes.
things. This episode of KoKo's World is powered by Q Fitness with Carly, the place where confidence is built, bodies get stronger, and you're reminded that you can still own the room on your toughest day. Q Fitness isn't just a workout, it's a movement. It's a space where women show up to pour into themselves, shake off the stress, and tap into the version of themselves that's been waiting to shine. Whether you're dancing it out, lifting it out, or sweating it out, you're never doing it alone. If you're ready for a community that hypes you up, challenges you, and celebrates every win, then Q Fitness with Carly is where you need to be. Because when you step into the space, you're not just working out, you're activating your power. Join us and let's elevate your mind, body, and confidence one session at a time.
100%.
And I've been trying to make myself that promise. Like last Friday, we had all these errands to do, and Shelby was like, "Can we just not go to the gym tonight?" And I was like, "No, I have to go to the gym. I'm going at 9 o'clock." And she was like, "What if you just do like self recovery? Go get in a massage bed and just relax?" And I said, "No." And she was like, "I'm just so impressed with how you're very dedicated." And we literally walked out of the gym when it was closing at 11 p.m. But I got it done in that day.
So there's like that fine line of I love that you're like, I made a promise to myself and I'm going to keep it. There's a fine line between I made a promise to myself and I'm going to keep it. And comes down to intentional,
Yeah.
being
Right.
intentional versus if I don't do this, it means this about me. So there's the story creation.
Yes.
Or there's I made a promise to myself and I'm going to keep it. One comes from a place of empowerment. One comes from a place of self-punishment.
Yes. And I'm trying to break the self-punishment side because growing up, my parents were not like, they were amazing from the standpoint of knowing how to talk to me. And I never had a spanking or anything, but they also were like, "Okay, Carly, for you to watch TV, your room needs to be done, your homework needs to be done." And like, I had a checklist. Like I knew what I needed to do every day after school. I had dance for 3 hours and then I had to get this stuff done and then I could watch That's So Raven.
Yeah.
But That's So Raven could not come on without having the stuff done. So now I'm like, I can't binge watch this TV show because I haven't done what I needed to get
Do you
done
know
for the
about
day.
human design?
I do not.
Okay.
What do you think it
So
is?
I would say a generator or a manifesting generator.
Manifesting generator. Yes, I have
Okay.
taken the test.
So some designs, and I'd be curious to know what your wife's design is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me
She's
too.
probably a manifester or a projector, if I had to guess.
She's a chiropractor, so I don't really know.
Look into it because, okay, so some designs
Okay.
need to burn out their energy before rest.
Okay.
Some designs need to rest to have enough energy.
She's that design.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So
She has to have 12 hours.
Some have to have a motor,
Yes.
right? They have a motor, so it needs to burn out in order to sleep. And some people I don't. I'm a manifestor by design. Actually, my entire house has no generator energy, which generators are the most, like 70% of the population.
Are you serious?
So we just don't have that. So I think if you are interested and you're listening, myhumandesign.com, it gets you a free chart or whatever. And honestly, you can pay. I'll do a chart read for you or whatever. But also you can just go on ChatGPT,
Okay.
upload this and say, tell me the most important things about me based on this design. That like truly has helped me live so differently than it helps me give myself grace because I know that some mornings, like I just need to have coffee and read a book and then I'm good to go.
Right.
You need that break. Or like even between meetings, sometimes I'll just lay on my floor of my office. Like I'll just flat out, like, my dog will come lay with me and we're just like vegging. And for a while I used to be like, why can't I work like everybody else?
Yeah.
But if I give myself permission to actually do that and be fine with it, I can get more done in 2 hours than most people can in a week.
Wow.
So it's like knowing how your energy works best so that you can fast track the way you work or understand the way you work or understand how your partner works differently than you. Because as somebody it's going to be really hard for you to understand, like, why does she want to loaf around?
Literally.
How is she loafing around?
She's Carly, how do you only sleep like 6 hours a night and you're an energizing bunny and I need 10 minimum and I need a slow start because the other day I was like, I'm going to the gym and she was like, Carly, it's 9 and 10 o'clock. And I said, I know, I've already had my coffee, I've meditated, I've watched a podcast and I'm going to the gym. And she was like, I'll see you whenever you're coming home. I said, okay.
Yeah, run her design because I bet you'll learn a lot about the way she works and how to work with it.
Okay, yes.
And how for her to work with it and communicate it to you differently.
I'm definitely going to do that because I've also been trying to learn just how my design works with manifesting things and like trying to get my intuition in line, which I'm going to talk to you off air
Yeah.
about visionary blueprint and like
Yeah.
getting myself involved in it, just
Yes.
because I really believe that's the path that I wanted to take. I'm just not, I don't believe that I'm meant to be a corporate girly. Like,
Manifesting generators' hardest thing is that they feel called to jump around from thing to
that
thing.
is me.
Yeah. And so a lot of people look at that, oh, you just can't stay on track with anything. And it's all everything's shiny and new. And so I can teach you how to like tune into that and understand like when things are a yes and when things are no by looking at your human design actually.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really interesting because we can learn around. But yeah, Visionary Blueprint's a great place for any business owner to come. We're doing a new membership called Visionary Society, which is currently
Ooh.
free.
Okay.
So it's a mastermind for women supporting women, connecting, talking through challenges, things that are going on, and problem solving together.
And do you mind providing like a website? I'm going to attach all of this to the notes and everything, but for anyone that's listening.
Yes. So you can connect with us actually through our Instagram and our websites on there. It's like a little bit of a lengthy HTTP because it's connected through my Thrive account
Okay.
or Thrive cart. So I'll send it to you. But yeah, if anybody listening is a business owner and they want to get their first month for free, we're doing our quarterly meetup on the 23rd. There's a chance to come hang out with us in Charlotte. It's going to be very exciting.
I'm so excited. And that's one of my goals for quarter one was to just find a mastermind. And I know that we've talked a lot and I've read her book and I'm like, this is more in line with where I'm heading and just with my own manifestation practices that I've learned just from YouTube, to be honest. And my work in therapy, I love my therapist. We've been together now 6 years, but I do believe that I'm ready to take the trauma and work on feeling the empowerment side of it and not just healing just to heal or not to preserve resentment or whatever. I'm looking at that as well.
Yeah.
Nichole did not know. And all the things just to mastermind myself
Yes.
and the dreams that I have for KoKo's World, but also for my own individual brand and just where I see myself heading in the next year.
I have Visionary Blueprint and I have Visionary Society. I also have a membership called the Comeback Club. So if you're more interested in manifesting intuition and just figuring out your own power in your life, that's a really great place. I do one-on-one coaching called the Energetic Edge. So how do we get around your blocks via energy? How do we understand your blocks via energy? And I love what you said. I think there's so much value in therapy and traditional counseling. There really is. And when you're done processing and understanding, I come in to help you leverage your future,
Yes.
help you believe in your future, help you figure out alignment and energy to understand your intuition and where it's directing you to go next.
Yeah, I believe that is what's needed. I truly feel that a lot of people, whenever they start the course of therapy and healing, is okay, I've looked at every area of my past, but how do I take this and move to look at my future?
That's the goal.
That is
That is my intention is I think when I started learning about manifesting and I'm still doing traditional therapy, I'm like, all we're doing is sitting in the energy and recreating the past. Like
Yes.
we're recreating the momentum of the energy in the past. Like, how do we take this and what we know and honor it,
Mhm.
understand it, see if it's still in our energetic field, but how do we make a plan to actually do
Yep.
something different in our lives, to move
Yes.
forward, to step into the version of yourself you've been dying to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what.
I got you, girl.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you would like to cover? Do you
That was perfect. I think this was a great conversation.
I honestly appreciate everything that you bring. And just from a woman to woman, I want to just give you your flowers and let you know that you are each case by case, you're changing this society norm. I believe that we, our light is trying to be dimmed in so many areas, and we need powerhouses like yourself to remind us that we deserve and can own and take up space in every room that we walk in. And I just want to say that, like, you truly are like a huge role model to me and what you have designed, and just being the woman entrepreneur, the mother, the therapist, like all the angles that you bring is just truly an inspiration.
That was so nice.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for the space you've created to
Yes.
highlight people in your world. And you're a fantastic, easy to talk to interviewer. So this is amazing.
Thank you for being a part of the show. And as always, I close with 3 goals or reflective thoughts that I would love for you guys just to take some time after listening to all the things that we talked about today and just write some stuff down that really hit home for you. But some 3 key points to reflect on would be write down 3 things or 3 ways that you've been showing yourself love recently. Next, write 3 ways you'd like to show yourself love moving forward. And then, based off of what we talked about today, what is one action from all the things that we covered that you're going to initiate within your own day to day life? I love the moment about just taking your hand over your heart and just saying, what do you need for today? Something simple like that can truly transition just the way we're able to show up for ourselves each and every day. So, as always, I hope you guys know that you are loved. And, but most importantly, remember to love yourself. And we will see you next episode.